People only invite you because of me. Hey viewers, real quick, if family drama is your thing, smash subscribe. Now back to the story. On your own, you're forgettable. I didn't flinch, not outwardly. Good to know, I said, and that week I stopped going anywhere with her. 3 days later, one of her closest friends pulled her aside, and whatever she whispered made my fiancé go completely pale. I'm Ethan, I'm 29, and for 2 years I was engaged to someone who slowly, steadily convinced me I had no value outside of being her plus one. This is about the week I tested that theory and discovered she'd been lying to me and maybe to herself. I met Taylor when I was 27. She walked into a friend's rooftop party like she owned the air, laughing, hugging, name-dropping people I'd never heard of like they were family. I was leaning against the railing, sipping cheap beer, watching the skyline. She came over, introduced herself, asked what I was thinking about. I said how quiet it is up here, considering how many people are crammed onto this roof. She laughed like I'd said something profound. We talked for an hour, then danced, then kissed. Opposites attract, right? For a while it worked. She pulled me into her world: dinners, gallery openings, rooftop bars, weekend trips with people whose names I forgot by Monday. I grounded her. When she got overwhelmed, when the noise got too loud, she'd find me in the corner, squeeze my hand, whisper, "Let's go home." We got engaged after 18 months. The ring was beautiful. The proposal was public. Her friends cheered. The relationship felt solid, or at least I thought it did. Looking back, the cracks were there. I just didn't recognize them as cracks. Taylor had this habit, small at first, of positioning herself as the reason I had a social life. "Thank God I brought you out tonight," she'd say. "You'd never leave the apartment otherwise. People wouldn't even know you exist if I didn't introduce you around." It started as teasing, then it became her standard explanation for why we were invited places. By 4 months ago, the comments got sharper. We were getting ready for her coworker's birthday party. She was adjusting her dress in the mirror. I was tying my shoes. She turned to me and said, "You should make more of an effort to talk to people tonight." I looked up, wise. "Because I don't want them thinking I dragged along dead weight." "Dead weight?" She said it like it was a joke, but she didn't laugh. "You know what I mean," she added. "You stand in the corner nursing one drink all night. People notice. So don't bring me down. I can't show up alone. That looks worse. Just try to be more engaged." "Okay," I said. I tried. At the party, I talked to her coworkers, asked about their jobs, laughed at their jokes, nodded at the right moments. But I could see it in her face, the tightness around her eyes, the way she'd glance at me then quickly look away. I wasn't performing well enough. I wasn't the charming, magnetic partner she wanted. The breaking point came 2 weeks ago. We were invited to a dinner party hosted by Rebecca, Taylor's closest friend. 8 couples, fancy restaurant, white tablecloths, wine pairings. The kind of night where everyone tries to outinterest each other with stories about Bali and blockchain and their therapist's latest insights. I was quiet, not because I was uncomfortable, just because I didn't have much to say about yacht trips or corporate promotions. Taylor kept shooting me looks, subtle, sharp, "Say something, do something, stop embarrassing me." On the drive home, she let me have it. That was painful. I didn't respond. "You barely said 10 words all night." "I didn't have anything to contribute." "That's the problem, you never do. You just sit there, making me look bad." I turned to her. "How does my being quiet make you look bad?" She pulled into our apartment complex, killed the engine, turned to face me. "Because people only invite you because of me." Her voice was calm, matter of fact. "They don't actually want you there. They tolerate you because you're with me." A pause. "On your own, you're forgettable." The words hung in the car. Forgettable. She said it like it was a weather report, like it was just true. "Good to know," I said. Quiet, flat. "I'm not trying to be mean," she said. "I'm being realistic. You need to hear this. If you want people to actually want you around, you need to make more effort." I got out, went inside. She followed, still talking, still coaching, still fixing me. I nodded, went to bed, lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling. The next morning I made a decision. If people only invited me because of Taylor, then I'd stop going places with her. Let's see what happens. Update 1. That week, Taylor had 3 events. Wednesday, drinks with her work friends. Friday, dinner at Rebecca's again. Saturday, brunch with her college roommates, the inner circle, the ones she texted every day. Events I'd always gone to, without question. Wednesday afternoon, she came into the kitchen. "What time should I be ready to leave?" I kept washing dishes. "I'm not going tonight." She froze. "What? Why not?" "You said people only invite me because of you." I turned off the water, dried my hands. "So I'm testing that theory. You go have fun, I'll stay home." "Ethan, I didn't mean you should stop coming to things." "No, you were right." I looked at her. If I'm forgettable and only there because of you, there's no point in me going. People will probably enjoy themselves more without me there. You're being ridiculous. Maybe, but I'm also being forgettable at home, where it won't embarrass you. She left without another word, came home around 11 p.m., didn't bring it up. Friday, same thing. Aren't you coming to Rebecca's? No. You said people tolerate me because of you. I don't want to be tolerated. You go enjoy yourself. People are going to ask where you are. Tell them I'm being forgettable somewhere else. She came home at midnight. This time she seemed off, agitated. Rebecca asked about you. What did you say? I told her you weren't feeling well. Why lies? Because I can't exactly say my fiancé is having a tantrum over something I said. This isn't a tantrum. I stepped closer. This is me respecting your assessment of my social value. She didn't answer, went to bed. Saturday morning, she was stressed, pacing, checking her phone. The brunch with her college friends was the big one, the group she saw most, the ones who knew her best. You're coming to brunch, she said. No. Ethan, enough. This has gone on long enough. People are asking questions. What questions about me? About us. About why you're suddenly not around. Tell them the truth. I walked to the couch, sat down. I'm forgettable, and people only invite me because of you. I never should have said that. But you did. I looked up at her, and now I'm curious to see if it's true. She stared at me, then turned and left. Alone, I spent the afternoon reading, working on a project, enjoying the quiet, no pressure to perform, no glances from across the room, no dead weight. She came home at 4 p.m., walked in, didn't say anything, went straight to the bedroom. I gave her an hour, then went to check on her. She was sitting on the bed, staring at the wall, pale, shaking. What happened? Nothing. Taylor, you look like someone died. I sat beside her. What happened at brunch? She turned to me and I saw it, something I'd never seen before. Not anger, not frustration, genuine uncertainty. Her voice cracked. Rebecca pulled me aside. I waited, she said. Taylor, what the hell is going on with you and Ethan? I stayed quiet. Taylor swallowed. I said, what do you mean? And she looked at me like I was lying, like I was playing dumb. Another pause. She said, we miss him, all of us. We keep inviting you, but we want him there. We don't even want you if he's not coming. I didn't move, my chest tightened. But that's not even the worst part, she whispered. I waited. She said, we only kept inviting you because we thought you'd bring him. We don't like you, Taylor. We never have, we just liked him. And now you've stopped bringing him and we don't know why. Silence, heavy, real. Taylor looked at me, her eyes wide, like she'd just been told the sky was green. I didn't know, she said. I stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the street. Cars passing, people walking dogs, life moving. All this time I thought I was the problem, that I was the one who didn't belong, but it wasn't about me being forgettable. It was about her needing to believe I was, because if I wasn't, then what did that say about her? I turned back to her. She was still on the bed, small, shrinking. I didn't feel angry. Not yet. I felt clarity like fog lifting. 3 days ago, I said, you told me I was forgettable. She opened her mouth. I didn't let her speak, but what I didn't know then was that they were inviting you because of me. Jen pulled me aside after brunch. She said, why isn't he coming to things anymore? I told her you were busy with work. She nodded, said that was okay. Then she stopped, swallowed hard, looked at me like she was choosing her words carefully, and then she said, Taylor, everyone's been asking about you, not why you're not there, about you specifically. They miss you. I sat down, just dropped into the chair. What? She said people like you, that you're one of the few people at these gatherings who actually listens when they talk, who remembers details, who doesn't try to one-up every story. And then she asked me, quietly, if I'd been making you feel unwelcome, if I'd said something that made you stop coming. The room got very quiet, like the air had been sucked out. What did you tell her? I lied, said you were just stressed about work. She didn't believe me. She said, if I'm making you feel like you don't belong, I'm making a huge mistake. Why would that be a mistake? My voice cracked just a little, but it cracked, because apparently people have been complaining to each other about me, how I dominate conversations, how I make everything about me, how they're glad when you're around because you balance me out. I processed that. People have been saying this, according to Jen. Yes, for months, they just never said it to me, directly. So when I told you people only invited you because of me, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. They invite me because I'm your girlfriend, You're the one they actually want there. Update 2, the next few days were tense. Taylor tried to act like everything was normal, but I could see it, she was turning it over in her head. The foundation of how she saw herself cracked. Wednesday, she asked if I wanted to go to drinks with her work friends. I said no. She went alone, came home 2 hours later looking deflated. They asked about you again. Kelly said she misses talking to you about books. Apparently, you two had this ongoing conversation about sci-fi novels. She's been wanting to recommend something to you. I don't remember having an ongoing conversation with Kelly. That's because you don't realize when you're connecting with people, she said. You think you're just being polite, but you're actually making them feel heard. I never noticed, she added, because I was too busy performing. Friday, Rebecca texted me directly. Taylor read it out loud. Hey, Taylor said you've been swamped with work. But we're having a small dinner next week, and we'd love if you could make it. No pressure, but you're missed. I showed Taylor the text. She stared at it for a long time. You should go, she said, without me. They invited you specifically, not us, you. What does that mean for us? She sat down, shoulders slumped. I think it means, she started, voice low, I've spent 2 years telling you that you're only interesting because of me, when the truth is, I'm only tolerable because of you. That's not. It is. Jin sent me a longer message today. Want to read it? She handed me her phone. The message was brutal. Jin laid out months of observations, how Taylor talked over people, how she steered every conversation back to herself, how she dismissed other people's stories as less interesting than hers, and then the kicker. The only time you're actually bearable is when Ethan's there. He softens you, makes you listen. When he's not around, you're exhausting. I handed the phone back. That's harsh. That's honest. And I've been doing the same thing to you, she said, telling you you're forgettable, when really, I was terrified people might like you more than me. Taylor, I need to figure some things out, about myself, about how I treat people, about how I've been treating you. Final update, we didn't break up immediately. Taylor started therapy, working through her need to be the center of attention, her insecurity masked as confidence. I started going to social events again, but I set clearer boundaries about how she spoke to me in public, in private. But 3 months later, we both realized the damage was too deep. She'd spent 2 years convincing me I had no social value, and I'd internalized it, even with her apologies, even with her changed behavior. I couldn't unhear it, you're forgettable. And she couldn't handle it, the social circle she thought she'd built. They actually preferred my company to hers. We called off the engagement in March, split amicably, or as amicably as possible when the foundation of your relationship turns out to be built on one person's insecurity and the other's eroding self-esteem. The ironic thing, after we split, I kept getting invited to things. Rebecca's dinners, Kelly's book club, game nights with Taylor's former coworkers. They weren't inviting me because of Taylor. They were inviting me despite her and Taylor. She moved to a different city 6 months after we split. Fresh start, new social circle, hopefully better self-awareness. I genuinely hope she figured out how to be the charismatic person she always thought she was without needing to tear down the people around her to feel elevated. As for me, I learned that forgettable was never the right word. I'm not loud, not flashy, not the life of the party, but I'm someone people want around because I make them feel heard. That's not forgettable. That's just a different kind of memorable. The moment Jin whispered whatever she whispered to Taylor at that brunch. The moment Taylor went pale and realized her entire social perception was inverted from reality. That was the beginning of the end, not because I wanted revenge, not because I wanted vindication, but because we both finally saw our relationship clearly. She'd built her identity on being the reason I had a social life. When that turned out to be false, she had to confront who she actually was, and I had to confront that I'd spent 2 years accepting someone's diminishment of me as truth. We were both wrong about a lot of things, but she was most wrong about one thing. Me being forgettable. The 3 days it took for her friends to notice my absence and start asking questions, that proved it. Sometimes the cruelest thing someone can do is convince you that you don't matter, and sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is test whether that's actually true. Edit, people keep asking what Jin specifically whispered to Taylor. She didn't whisper anything to Taylor. She whispered to me, lined in after Jin walked away, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "You're not the problem, she is." And that's when I realized the whole thing wasn't about me at all. It was never about me. Taylor showed up at my door that night, face pale, eyes wide, hands twisting the strap of her bag like she was trying to wring out the truth. She'd just left the group hangout. Again, the 3rd one in a row I hadn't gone to. She said, "They asked where you were." A pause, then quieter. They said, "Everyone's wondering where Ethan is and why I keep coming alone." She didn't know the exact words. Nobody recorded it. Nobody had to. The weight of it landed the same. "We like you," she repeated slowly, "but we're here for him too." I didn't respond right away. I just stared at the floor between us, at the scuff marks on the hardwood, thinking that's not what it was supposed to feel like. Because in Taylor's version of our friendship, I was the anchor, the one holding her back. The reason she felt guilty for showing up without me. She'd say things like, "I don't want to go if you're not coming," like it was loyalty, like it was love. But it wasn't. It was control. Hers, mine, ours. She thought I was the one making her choose. But the truth. I'd already made the choice, over and over. And every time she picked me out of obligation, out of guilt, out of some twisted idea that I'd fall apart without her. And I let her believe it. I played the part, the quiet one, the loyal one, the one who stayed home, who said, "Go ahead, I'm fine," who smiled like I meant it. But I wasn't fine, and I wasn't invisible either, not to them. Not really. They noticed when I wasn't there, not because I was loud or flashy or the center of attention, but because absence leaves a shape, and mine had a name. 3 days later, I texted one of them, just a simple, "Hey, been a while. You all still meeting Fridays?" They responded in under a minute. "Dude, yeah, we've missed you. Taylor comes, but it's not the same." No drama, no grand reveal, just that. And somehow that hurt more than anything, because it proved it wasn't about Taylor. It wasn't about loyalty or friendship or standing by someone. It was about me, and the fact that I'd spent years believing I was a footnote in my own life. For those asking if I felt vindicated, no, I didn't. I felt sad. Sad that it took me vanishing completely for anyone, including me, to realize I was supposed to be there, not as Taylor's shadow. Not as the quiet one who tagged along, but as me, sad that Taylor's insecurity had been running the show this whole time. That she thought she was protecting me when she was really just protecting herself, from being seen as replaceable, from being alone, from the terrifying idea that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't the only one holding the group together. And saddest of all, that I let her. I let her define our friendship. I let her define me, and in doing so, I forgot what it felt like to take up space. Vindication implies winning, but nobody won here. Taylor lost a friend, I lost years, and the group. They just kept going, which I guess was the point all along. The last thing I saw before I turned off my phone that night, a photo from that Friday hangout, sent to the group chat. Everyone's smiling, Taylor's in the middle, and right at the edge, half in, half out, was an empty chair. Mine still there, after everything. Still there. Ever dealt with toxic family? Comment and subscribe.